Hey guys, welcome to part 4. This is a drum mixing tutorial using Get the Drums P4 kit. If you haven't already, then please check out the other videos. The links are in the description box below. They kind of set you up for what's to come in this video and future videos, so it's worth checking out. So we'll just have a quick listen. This is pretty much as it is straight out of the box. I've done a few little tweaks within Get Good Drums, which I'll show you in a minute. So here we go. Okay, so that is literally as it sounds straight out the box. And if we go into Get Good Drums here, I'll just show you a few bits that I've done. So these are my levels: kick drum mic, overheads, and room mic there. These kind of levels. You'll notice on the kick direct mic, I have pitch controlled it just a little bit up. So we'll just take a listen with and without there. So this is without. And then with. Okay, so that just tightens it up a little bit for me. You know, that's a matter of preference. So next on to snare. So you'll notice it's quite high in the room mic. That's because we want to get that snappy big reverb coming off it. So I'll show you just the direct snare drum mic. And then with the room mic on as well. Obviously makes a huge difference. So you want that room mic quite far up in the mix. I think I've got it set to about 1 dB. Same as the main snare mic. Okay, and on to toms. So you've got pretty much normal levels for each tom. Bring them down in the overheads a little bit, and then even further down in the room. You'd notice there I had these, I think it's an envelope filter type thing set on the main floor toms, and that basically acts as a gate which kind of gets rid of all that low rumbliness that comes after the hit. So I'll just show you a little example. Okay, so all that noise that's going on afterwards, you don't really want that there. So just flick these little switches, play about with the settings until you find something that is how you want it, and this is how it sounds for me. Okay, and without. Yeah, just gets rid of all that after noise that you don't really want in there. Okay, onto cymbals. This is kind of how I've got my settings. Overhead's cranked right up to about 1.5 dB there, and all the others are hovering around this sort of minus 15, 16 dB sort of level. The China I found quite loud in the mix, so I've just dropped that down a little bit further to, it's on actually minus 26 dB. And in the cymbal mixer here, everything's just pretty much flat. You know, you can tweak little bits here and there as you get further into the mix and stuff, so that's something that you can always come back to and tweak later on. Okay, so that's my basic mix settings within Get Good Drums. These gates on the toms are really important, so it's good to get those in there early. Okay, so everything's set up there. Next thing we're going to do is set up a drum compression channel. So right click down here, add a track, add effects channel track, and I'm using the API 2500 stereo. So you would add that track in, which I've already done here, and named it drum compression. Okay, and here's my settings for the drum compression. Just tweaking that up by 1 dB, analogs off, slow release, fast attack. This is currently set to minus 10 dB. So basically every one of my drum channels I'm going to be sending into that drum compression. And this is really important to get a big sounding kit. You know, like without this it's never going to be what you want it to be. So this is really important. Also something to note is I have sent the toms to their own channel by simply adding track, adding group channel track this time and naming that Toms. So I've added that, and on there I've got exactly the same compression as the drum compression. Just copy and paste the settings, but this just gives you a little bit more control over the toms, which need to be, you know, high and present in the mix sometimes. So for now, I'm going to mute the drum compression channel, so everything that we hear for the rest of it won't have this drum compression on until the very end when I turn it on, just for the purpose of showing you EQs and stuff in the mixing process. Okay, so let's go into our mixer and start with the kick drum. So this is the kick straight out of the box. You'll notice I've got some EQ on it here, which is turned off at the moment. Basically, the first thing you want to start with is your compression on the kick. So just some gentle, easy compression there. You can copy these settings if you want to. Again, I'm using the AP500. I just love it as a compressor. Then I'm putting on a bit of tape distortion. So again, if you've got a plugin like this, it's really useful just to give it that bit of extra bite and a fuller tone, I find. So here's with here's without, and then with these settings. That's without, and here's with. Obviously makes a huge difference, and that's before I've even EQ'd it. So yeah, these are the moves that I've made on the kick drum. Just taking out some little nasties up here. So here's how it was before, and then I'll put it on. So that's without the EQ, and then with. So it just reins it back in a little bit. You know, we've beefed it up, you just want to bring it back down a little bit and tweak some little nasty EQs out of there. Okay, so that's your kick drum. You'll notice it's on the send, it's going to that drum compression group. So we literally just turn this on, press the drop down menu there, select your drum comp, and just keep it set at 0. Everything we're going to keep set at 0 for these sends, and then we can move the fader within the actual channel to give it more or less compression. Okay, so that's the kick drum. Onto snare. So snare top and bottom are both routed to the same channel from Get Good Drums, so I'll just show you here quickly. On my snare top's here, that's going out to channel 2, and snare bottom also going to channel 2, so we're sending them both to the same channel in Cubase. However, you'll notice snare bottom is around about 10 dB quieter than snare top. So here we go into our snare channel in Cubase, and you'll notice I have got quite a lot of plugins on here. So I'm using firstly the Fab Filter Pro G. If any of you have had a chance to check out the Fab Filter suite, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say it's absolutely a game changer, absolutely incredible. You know, I've only been using it for less than a month, and already it's saved me so much time when it comes to mixing and stuff like this. You know, it's well worth its bang for its buck, so definitely worth checking out. So here's the settings that I'm using. There's a little expert mode as well down here, but we can ignore that for now. Okay, then on to the little compressor, AP500 again, the little go-to one. I'm guessing most of you are probably using Smash and Grab, Get Good Drums one, but I'm still with the API 2500. So here's the settings that I've got for that. I like to keep the analog off, just adds a little bit of hiss, which we don't really want. Onto the Supercharger GT. Again, another awesome plugin. If you get a chance to get hold of this, then it's really worth investing in. So here's the settings that I've got, and this just basically gives it a lot of bite. I'll show you a little before and after. So this is without the supercharger, and then with it. Obviously a massive difference there. And then the L2 stereo limiter. This is a real go-to plugin for a lot of people who've been mixing for years. here's the settings that I've got on there, and I'll just show you a little before and after of all these plugins. Firstly off and then on. Okay, that's without, and then with. And a little bit of EQ here, just tweaking some mids out of the snare, high mids, and then popping a little bit of highs back in. So with that on as well, here's how we've got our snare. And without any of that again. Okay, sounds pretty awesome. Again, this is going to the drum compression effects channel. So you literally just select that, send it to your drum comp, keep it on 0 again, and remember I'll turn this on at the end so we can see the difference that makes. Okay, snare bottom here you'll notice turned right down because remember we sent snare bottom to the snare top channel as well, so they're both going to that one channel. Okay, so toms. Tom 1 I'm not using in this track, so we can ignore that. Tom 2, literally no EQ on that there. Send it to the drum compression group, and remember sending that to our tom group as well. Instead of stereo out, it's going to our toms group. Okay, so I can control the toms separately to the rest of the kit. I like to do that. So literally all I'm using on these toms is the Fab Filter Saturn, which is an incredible plugin. I've already tweaked these settings. Basically what it does, it splits your signal into 3 different parts. You can control exactly where you're splitting this, and then you can control exactly all your lows, mids and highs. And it sounds really boring, but what algorithms it has inside it or what, I don't know, but it just does crazy things. So here's the toms without. Let's just try this tom on its own. So that's without. And then with the Fab Filter, insanely different, insanely cool. And you know, me and my band have spent years trying to get sounds like this, and you can literally just do it in a click of a button with these. So again, Tom 2, let's listen to that without. That's without. And then with the Fab Filter Saturn. Boom. It's incredible. Again, I've just copied and pasted the settings from the first tom over to this second tom. And then you might want to tweak little bits here and there. It's just down to preference, basically. So as I'm going through, I'm just making sure I'm turning all these settings back on. Yeah, EQ on snare. Fab Filter Saturn again on the final floor tom. Onto hats. Nothing really going on that channel. I've just brought them down to -4 dB. And the ride, again sending that to the drum compression group, same as the hats. Okay, so then to China, again that's just -4 dB and no real settings on there. These 2 channels, they're nothing, so I've just turned them right down. Got my overheads here, which I've got -3.5 dB, and they are going to the drum compression group. And this is the overheads as they are. So you can hear they're quite thumpy. There's a lot of subbiness that you just don't want in there. It's all needs cleaning up. So I've cut a load of that out, done some more high-end EQ tweaks. This is how it sounds now. Okay, so that just cleans it right up, and you just want your overheads to be overhead in the mix, no like subbiness. And then we're on to the room mics. So Okay, so I've done a couple of EQ tweaks there. Compression on these is just some gentle compression there, followed by the Fab Filter Saturn again. Let's see what that's doing. Okay, so it's boosting some of the mids there. These are set to 0. So you're just boosting your mids there. Let's have a listen without and then with. So that's without the Saturn and then with it on. Okay, boosted so some mids there. And then I've just got a little EQ tweak there at 250 Hz. Okay. And then boosting a little bit of the high end back in there. So here's how it was before, without any of these and without any EQ. Okay, and then with it all on. Okay, so you can tell that just sort of is sitting up in that higher range with the overheads there. So lastly, what we're going to do is turn our drum compression on and just A/B the difference with and without it. Okay, so that's without any of the drum compression, and then if we pop it on, and what I'll do is I'll just A/B between with and without so you can tell. Okay, so hopefully you can hear that that is making a fairly big difference. Okay, so first thing I'm noticing is the toms are a little quiet, so I'll just go to my tom group here, and I'm gonna just get them to the right volume. So -3 on the tom group there. Okay, so let's have a listen to how that sounded before we even started any of the mixing again. And it sounded like this. And now it sounds like this. Cool. And that concludes video 4. So next one will be a bass guitar mixing video if you are interested in bass guitar. So join me for that one. Subscribe by clicking the little circle thing that's popping up that way or that way, I can't remember which. And yeah, next video is going to be there. So see you in the next one. Cheers.